Welcome to the Emergence Speaker Series. I'm your host, Marina Orms, and we have been chatting in this series with some wonderful guests about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction on February 20th, 2026, which is a significant time of shift and transition. It's not just one day, it's more a period of time, but we're here to help you navigate the changing times and work with this energy to shape the future in the best possible ways. More details about this series are available at transformationalastrology.com, where you can sign up for a free account to get advanced access, early viewing to each guest speaker's video. So that's transformationalastrology.com to be notified and get early access for each video. I'm so excited to welcome our next speaker in this series, Judith Tamarah. Judith is a geomancer. She's a fan of astrology who is tuned in with energy. And while she's not personally an astrologer, she is an expert on the energy of environments. Judith is an artist and designer with a master's in interior architecture and a certificate in design psychology. She's a geomancer, so she's someone who works with the energy of spaces, and she works with the energies of the earth to design workspaces and home spaces that support your creativity. Yeah. Welcome, Judith.
Hello, it's nice to be here.
Thanks for being here. So, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about how you sort of perceive these energies? And I know specifically you wanted to focus on the energy of 0 degrees Aries and kind of how it speaks to you.
Yeah. So, 0 degrees, Aries actually is pretty significant for me. My moon is at 48 minutes, Aries, and my Chiron is at 29 and 40 minutes, Pisces. So it's a little bit like a princess in the pea point for me, and there's not much else in my chart on that side of so everything is on the other side of the chart. So I've got this little concentrated, like pokey energy right there. So I'm very, I have a lot of experience with that intense initiatory energy of Aries in the first degree. So this has been a fun time for me, right? And as you know, Neptune and Saturn bump over this lovely point. And
let me just before we go any farther, just for anyone who might be joining us kind of in the middle here, that Saturn and Neptune are coming together for their conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. And it's the first time, in fact, that they've had this conjunction. So the conjunction happens every about 36 years, but this is the first time in thousands of years that it's happened at 0 degrees Aries. So that's what we're talking about.
Yes, not a coincidence. I've probably been preparing this my entire life. So here we are. And the thing that I know about Aries in that first degree is that it has a lot of intensity, and it has a lot of directness, and it is what I call what gets me out of bed in the morning, right? It has zoom, right? And what my work focuses on is I create spaces, I help people create environments in which their zoom is protected. And by protected, I mean grounded, centered, allowed to have the fierceness that it has without throwing us off balance or shooting off in many directions. I call it in my work when I'm working with clients and when I'm giving classes, I call it life force energy, right? When I'm talking about creativity, I'm not talking about like hobbies, and whatever I'm talking about what is vital life force for you. A hobby could be vital life force for you, but it's not minor. It's a powerful generative energy that is essential to ourselves feeling creative, to creating ourselves. And I feel in my work, it is what initiates us into this world. So this point, I feel when Neptune and Saturn are coming across this point, you have this very beautiful and intense and slightly contradictory, like pulling in two directions of like the zoom of the dream and the zoom of the fierce practical Saturnian energy of making it happen in form. So you've got the zoom of the Neptune dream and the zoom of this structure, right? Which in and of itself is a hard thing to bring together. That's my opinion. And when you've got like really intense energy at the same time, that sort of doubly sows it, right? It's like it's not this easygoing turtle or anything like that. So it's very much in alignment with the kind of work that I do and the way that I look at this specific time period, is that I'm working with clients and I'm helping people navigate this energy without suppressing it.
Mm.
So when we're dealing with these high energies, these powerful energies, and we want to get grounded, there is a tendency to want to put a lid on it, to tell yourself to settle down or to get real, to get practical. But you got this Neptune energy too, right? You got this Neptune energy that wants to be big and dream. So how do you do these both at the same time? So that's how I feel about it.
Wow. Yeah. And just some of the things you're articulating really, I think, bring out the qualities of how this conjunction in particular might feel. And so when you're talking about the energy of protection, what is it we're protecting?
That's a really good question. Because I think that, and what I teach and what I work with people is like when we think of protection, we start thinking about like holding it off, like barricading it, and that prevents it from actually interacting with the world. Now, every single person is different. Every single person has a different spark, a different zoom, a different vibe. And so for some people, what is protective may be more containing. And for other people, what's protective may actually be more extroverted or going out into the world. And for many people, we're doing both of those things, right? Like one of the things that I do when I'm working with a person is I'm looking at how they cycle through their creative process and their creative energy on a day-to-day, month-to-month, season-to-season, year-to-year basis, situated in time, which is very astrology, right? This is why I love astrology because it's very complementary to geomancy. One's the study of the energies of the earth, and one's the study of the energies of the sky and the universe beyond that. But really, they're both sort of like flavors of environment, right?
Yeah,
And
earth and sky, time and space, right? It's all
right,
the different dimensions at the same time.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And time is a kind of space, and the universe is a kind of space. I mean, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
so so when I'm talking about protection, I'm looking at a very specific way that each individual does it because it's not a prescription for like, um, you know, do this, do that, whatever, light a candle, have a rock, whatever it is. It's very, very personal. And so um, in design psychology and in the sort of channel geomancy that I do, and in also actually interior architecture or architecture, we're all in all of those cases, we're looking at how the individual person moves through space. And I don't know, I know that I mentioned this, that I wanted to do an exercise with people that they can take with them. And I don't know if that's appropriate to move into at this point, or if you have more questions before that.
Yeah, just before we jump in with the exercise, could you give an example of how how that creative energy might show up for a person and how the energy of their space can help support or protect or contain that creative energy?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Mhm.
Because examples, I have to be reminded to do that. So, for example, this is a classic design psychology process. Um, a lot of the time when we're growing up, we're born into many different environments. Some of them are challenging, some of them are supportive, most of them are a mix,
So for
right?
one, you're talking about one individual,
One individual,
multiple environments. Yeah.
multiple environments over multiple times. So for an example, for me, I grew up and I would um, visit my grandparents who had a beach house on the East Coast, and it had blue floors. It was an old house. It had blue floors, white walls. It had, you know, a number of different objects. But when I was there as a small child, I had the feeling of freedom and safety at the same time. So I felt contained in the environment of my family, extended family, aunts and uncles, all out in the screened in porch going late into the night, while the kids the cousins were running around. Um, there's a visceral feeling that was imprinted on me of the environment at that point. Blue, white, ocean, people, late night, lights, the smell of the environment in the summer, the humidity, even the mosquitoes, really is a full sensory experience. And in my current environment, I pull those pieces. I have blue walls. I have blue carpet. I have um, objects of seashells. I have the way the light is, all these sorts of things. And those create an environment where remind me, trigger on this very visceral, intuitive level, this sense of groundedness and this sense of freedom, this sense of being held by a group of people, an identity, people that I love, a sense of love. And within that environment, that is where my creative energy is easily generated. That's where my life force feels like it is free and capable of speaking its mind and doing its thing without being suppressed. So when we start to consciously bring those in to our space, we start having more agency and more direction and more facility in um, creating those environments that are it's going to really nourish our environment or our creative energy. And the thing is about this reality about how humans create spaces is that we tend to recreate the spaces over and over again of our of our past. And that includes the good and the bad. That includes environments that may actually trigger us to feel less secure or feel suppressed or feel uh, scattered or distracted. So what we're doing is we're with this particular exercise, we're pulling in and becoming conscious of the things that make your particular energy feel strong, feel whatever it is that it needs, because some people's creative energy is very fluid. Mine is very fluid, and some people's is extremely focused and direct. Wonder who I'm talking about there. Marina is who I'm talking about. So, everyone's energy is very, very different, and it is about cultivating that and becoming clear of it, and being able to access the sources and the resources that structure it more clearly in our life and in our world.
That's so beautiful and so well articulated. Thank you.
Mm.
So some of my takeaways are that we can create that container
Yes.
on purpose
Yes.
rather than sort of accidentally or through our subconscious, and maybe even a little bit of self-sabotage in there, right?
Right.
So choosing consciously and on purpose what supports us, and with bringing in that Aries, and I love your words, spark
Mhm.
and zoom and life force, to
Yeah.
to nourish that flame
Hmm.
to grow in the direction that's most healthy and aligned for
Hmm.
you personally.
Yes.
And that container that you're talking about very sensory memories and visceral
Hmm.
experiences you're recreating is very Saturnian. It's very like, so you are creating the literal structure, the little literal container that supports your life force energy and supports your Neptune, big
Big
picture,
dreams. Hmm.
your spirituality and your spiritual needs, um, in a really profound way. That's just really amazing.
I think what's beautiful right now about the Saturn and the Neptune conjunction in the first degree of Aries is they really need each other. Like the Saturn and the Neptune, I mean, all the planets, all the energies need each other, right? But like this is a picture, a framed like Zen window of what it takes to actually actualize a dream is it
Yeah.
needs a form,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Totally. Yes. Great. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking about. Making the dream real.
Making the dream real, baby.
And emergence.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
emerging with that audacity to be yourself and to bring your spark to life.
Yeah,
So
and that 0 degrees Aries is such a newborn vibe, right? It is the birth point. It is, I call it the alpha, the alpha and the omega. It's like the beginning of the alphabet again.
yeah.
So very powerful.
Yes.
It seems
So
like
powerful.
very powerful to set intention right now.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally. And to, in many ways, I think also kind of align with your intentions that have been part of you for your whole life. Like
absolutely.
this
Yeah.
is about bringing that bigger dream into more concrete,
Right.
tangible form. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
so many
Beautiful.
people right now who are talking about like they cannot not do what they want to do. Like
Yeah.
it's not a choice anymore. They're compelled.
Right. Right. The creative, the truth within, the
Exactly.
soul's purpose. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you're going to share an exercise with us to help us tap into what that container is for each one of us. And
Yep.
I understand this is just a small sample of what you do.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is a very, very small sample.
yeah,
But it's an easy one. This is actually is my take on design psychology exercise from developed by Toby Israel, who is the person who I am certified in design psychology through. She comes from a environmental psychology background, and she wanted to make it applicable to spaces. And her book is called someplace like home if people want to explore more of her work. But this is just my take on one of my favorite exercises in that book. So um, to give credit to where it is due, she's a lovely person.
Mm.
So the first thing to do, and you can take the information that I'm giving you right now, and do it all the time. Like this is a practice. This is just a self-awareness thing. And when you do it, you can do it, in this deep psychology, you can like get into a meditative space and get grounded and all that sort of stuff. But you can also do it when you're going for a walk. You can do it and notice it when you're going for a walk or when you're, waiting in line at the post office or whatever. So I want everyone who's listening to take a moment, if you have a moment. If you're listening on a car and while you're driving, don't shut your eyes, and get settled in. And I want you to pull to yourself a sense of safety if you can. I know sometimes that can be really tricky for people. It certainly has been tricky for me in the past. But other words that might be in alignment with that is a grounded sense, a centered sense, a calm, peaceful, stable, all of these sort of foundational energies. Sometimes it's useful for me to actually think about the ground and how we're here and we don't have to go anywhere else. We're just here right now. So all of those energies, just pull them towards you. I suppose you could say the really positive Saturnian energy, a place where you have felt held and so forth. And allow yourself to bring to mind, and I always like to emphasize that you can trust whatever comes up in your mind first or second or naturally. Go back through your past and start to remember a place in your past where you have felt some of those energies. Either you've felt held, you've felt supported, contained, loved, again, safe, and it's felt spacious as well. So it's an energy that gives you some movement and freedom to be yourself. And if you want to take a few minutes and think about that, you can pause the recording and take a few minutes. And when you have arrived at that place, in that space, in your memory, start feeling the dirt or the floor or the ground that you're walking on. That's a really good way to sort of place yourself in that environment and start bringing in the other senses as well. So, what does it smell like? What do you hear? What ambient sounds are around you? Do you hear soft traffic noises? I grew up around a train. Every time I hear a train, I feel really settled. So, thinking about things like the birds, the wind, the sound of people talking around you, right? All those things. You can also bring in the feeling on my skin is often a really powerful one. Is there a wind? Is it warm? And then also the quality of light is very, very deep. But light, scent as in smell, the feeling of the skin. These are very primal, memory holders. So get as settled as you can into that space. You can take a few minutes to do that. And then the next step is, when you've taken that moment, is to imagine yourself walking around through that space and open your eyes and look around. Start noticing what stands out to you. Start noticing if there are objects that stand out to you, or the spatial arrangement is often very, very visceral. So I tend to, in my life, feel safe when I'm up high, like on the second floor or on a balcony. I have very early memories of being on a balcony and just feeling overjoyed at being able to see out onto the landscape behind my house. When I was like 4 or 5, it had a big hill behind our house, and it was covered in bright yellow dandelions at certain times of the year. And so I have like an incredible transcendent experience sometimes when I am up high. So different kind of spatial qualities people can look for is, how contained am I? Am I open at the front? Am I open all around? Or am I completely enclosed, like I'm in a fort? As a kid, that often has a great sense of space. Am I in a tree house? Am I in a garden, right? So these are different spatial qualities. And start making notes to yourself. What is the material? What are the materials around me? Are the colors that are around me? What is the texture around me? Am I on a soft quilt? Do I have something wrapped around me? How do my feet feel on the ground? All these things. And start just collecting a few of those to take sort of home with you. And normally in a class, I would pause for a fairly long time as people wander through the room. So when you get to that point where you have walked through this room sufficiently, you can come back to the current space and you can start jotting these things down. You can keep a journal too, of these pieces that stand out to you. And the two things that are very interesting to notice is that first of all, you may start looking around your room or your spaces and start going, oh, that's why I have this here, right? And then you can also start noticing the things that don't fit in that vibe. So the way that we start integrating it into space is, it's not a, what is it? It's not like recreating a set. You're not trying to like remake the space that you are in. We've gone through so many spaces, and we integrate those spaces over time, and we go through different developmental stages growing up. So it is more of a collage, or a, what is it, when you take somebody else's original work and you modify it? You're changing this in this current area, in your current space. So the one thing that I recommend to my clients, that I see a lot of them trying to do, is sort of this perfection of like, I have to have this thing, and they get really rigid around it. This is not about that. It's not about, first of all, beating yourself up because you don't have the space that you think that you're supposed to have. The second thing is, it takes time. This sort of creation of space is, you just take one thing and you bring that in the most intuitive, loving, gentle way that you can think of. And you slowly and with great love let go of the things that don't belong, that don't resonate, that maybe you start recognizing where you pull those from less positive spaces in your life. And this is a sort of like a continual evolution practice. And that's why I call it a practice, is it is about starting to become slowly aware of how we recreate our environment, and create and recreate our environment, and that there's turnover. It is in constant motion, this environment. The other way that I do this exercise, and I really recommend people doing this exercise, is instead of just going back in the past, because we're always walking through environments, um, constantly in our life. We're going to the grocery store, we're going on picnics, we're going, all sorts of things. Um, Start noticing when you feel those moments of stability, security, groundedness, authenticity, freedom, motion, all those things that really hold us, and start noticing those environments that you're walking through when you start having them. And oftentimes you'll start seeing the spatial arrangements, the scents, the colors, and so forth that are connected to that sense of groundedness. So that's the scoop.
Mm, wow. Thank you so much. That feels really, really rich and powerful. And I feel like this is just kind of a beginning, and anyone
Mhm.
can replay this video, pause it where you need a little bit more time to deepen into your memories or time to write down things that you notice. Um, and something that could provide a lot of support.
Yeah,
Um, I can
I'm glad.
just share I can share that for me, the what's interesting is my memory was of being in a garden, trees in the
Mhm.
springtime, the air smelled fresh, the gentle breeze and the sunshine, but really very specifically the green of the trees. And then you said, look around your space. And here I am in my workspace where I do these videos. What do I have? I have this green with the leaves. And
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
just really, really
that's
interesting.
lovely. That's really awesome. I'm glad.
So, and like you said, it's not about recreating, it's just about bringing in those elements in small ways and
Yeah.
just, yeah, over time.
Over time, time is so important because a lot of the time, so what happens is that our energy changes, right? Our energy changes in response to our environment. I used to call it the chicken and the egg. It's like they really are, neither one comes first. Our space creates us, we create our space. It's happening at the same time. And I think I might have lost my thought.
The chicken and the egg.
The chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
Oh, the space. So when we change inside, we change our environment outside. And then that environment changes us. So you can't actually put all of the pieces into place at the beginning when you're making a space, because you skip over the process of incrementally changing yourself or being changed by your environment. So you make it, and you don't know we do not know where we're going. I actually think this is very first degree Aries vibe, right? We do not know where we're going, but we know the next step, right? We know the next step, and we take that step, and then we're in that place, and we are present, and we see what our environment has. We make our changes, and then we change. And it's like that going forth.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was really, really, really helpful and fascinating and in depth in a short amount of time. Thank you
Woohoo.
so much for sharing your expertise with us. I'm so grateful.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
So is there anything you want to share about where people can learn more about you or what you're up to now?
My website is currently being rebuilt, so you can go to my website. It's judithtamarah.com, and I think you can put your name in there and you'll become part of my mailing list. And when I start going forth with the website and my classes again, you will find out about it. And my newsletter, I will be starting up my newsletter. I've been focusing on other projects for a couple of years. And so I'm starting up my newsletter again, and that will have support and guidance in this work and fun, I hope. And you can find out about that if you sign up.
And Judith will have her own page on our speaker series at transformationalastrology.com, where you can go to learn more about her and her website, and we'll see whatever she wants to share there. But thank you everyone for joining us and for staying with us till the end here. And I've got more Emergent Speaker Series coming up. So sign up for a free account at transformationalastrology.com. You'll get notified and get early viewing to each video. We already have some posted, just really, really top-notch, high-quality content, in-depth support you and your process and how we are all moving through these amazing times of change.
Yay. Thank you so much, Marina. It was great.
Thank you, Judith, and thanks everyone for joining us. See you
Okay.
next time.
Bye.